What's up guys, how you doing? Welcome to this new video, and today it's time to meet this beast, the Obsbot TAIL AIR, one of the most complete webcams currently on the market with artificial intelligence, with object and person tracking, and many more interesting features. If you want to get to know it, you know what to do. Just stick around here at TechGround. Alright, let's get into it. Obsbot TAIL AIR, as I just mentioned, it's a beauty. It's like I mentioned earlier, it's one of the most complete webcams out there currently. It might resemble models we've seen before on the channel, like the Obsbot Tiny 1 or the Obsbot Tiny 2, and that's because aesthetically they are very similar. I uploaded a reel about the Obsbot Tiny 1, which I'll be linking right here on the screen, and about the Obsbot Tiny 2, I uploaded a longer video that goes more in depth and more detail about a product that I really liked a lot. But then we have the version that would be the most powerful, aesthetically resembling Tiny 2 a lot. We could say it's a chunkier version of all of them because it easily doubles or triples the other models in size. But mainly it's because this particular model doesn't need to be plugged into the power outlet. It has its own built-in battery, which will allow us to do live streams on the street, stream completely outside of our home, record football matches, basketball games, all of this while taking advantage of all the functionalities it has, like I mentioned, people tracking and object tracking. It is especially useful, for example, if you're into theater and you want to record your play to watch it later, if you're a stand-up comedian, if you're a professional player, or you want to record your games, you can place it and tell the camera itself to follow you, to track you throughout the entire game so it focuses on you and follows you automatically so you can later analyze yourself, or simply to take shots or videos of the person that you have chosen. So, having said that, let's move on to the unboxing super quick. We find this visually very nice red box, also quite larger than the previous models that I had mentioned earlier. And once we open the box, we find this hard case. And all Obsbot models come with a case of their own, and I think it's even more practical now, because it's a model focused on being used outside of the home. So if we want to transport it, we can do it from within this very case. Inside we find a USB-C cable with two outputs on both sides. This adapter, which would be a USB-C connector duplicator, which is very practical, and then we have the USB-C adapter for USB-A, in case our computer or our telephone doesn't have a USB-C connection. If we want to connect it to a computer or phone that does have USB-C, we would use this connector. Having said that, aesthetically it's a nice product. It stands out a lot, as I mentioned at the beginning, for its size. It's a model that's quite larger, much heavier as well, and bulkier than the previous models. It's noticeably bigger, but as I said, it's mainly because of its battery. It has to store the battery somewhere, and it does add the base, but aesthetically the top part and everything else, it would be very similar. We find that the front has 4 LED points that will indicate the device's charge level. Then we have the connector and the micro SD card slot, where we'll insert the card that will store all the data or all the videos we record with the camera. And then we have what would be the power on and off button, and just below the USB-C connector for charging the camera. And lastly, on one of the sides we have the 3.5mm jack to connect an external microphone to this camera. So, having said that, what better explanation than to get our hands dirty? Let's go directly to try the camera itself and see what its functionalities are. So then bring in the video. Alright guys, here we go. Let's try out this little camera. Well, as you can see, first of all, we're seeing it on a tablet, not on the computer, and this is because the possibilities this camera offers allow us to take it out on the street and configure it with our phone, our tablet, or whatever device we want. In this case, I'm doing it with the tablet to record it and for you to see. In fact, I'm going to start recording with the camera so you can also see the quality of the camera, and we'll be changing up the shots, okay? As you can see, I made this gesture. I won't do it again because it will stop the recording, but with this gesture we can start recording without having to touch any single button. Obviously, if we press this button, we'll also do it, but if we make this gesture again, you'll see that the recording has stopped. In this case, you're also seeing that the camera is also following me. If you wanted to go faster or slower, we touch here, and as you can see, we have a tortoise and a hare here. In this case, it's as slow as possible. If we wanted to go much faster, you'll see that now the tracking will be faster. And again, if we want to lower it or want to put it wherever we want, we can adjust it right there. If we don't want the camera to follow us anymore, we simply, just like the Tiny 2, we make this gesture with our hand and the light changes from blue to green, and the tracking would be disabled and the camera remains fixed. If we want to activate it again, we make this gesture again. If we want to zoom in, we make this gesture. And as you can see, the image zooms in. Two shots have been generated, alright? The first shot, which has zoomed in, would be what is really being broadcasted, And then this other shot where everything is seen and it has marks with the dotted lines. What is really being seen, which as you can see, is this. If we want to access all possible shots, we go here and you'll see that we have all the shots and we can change between them, okay? To switch between these shots, we can access through these little icons over here, which are the different shots that we can configure. These are shots that I've configured previously. If we want to reset the shot, we touch here, and as you can see, we go back to the initial shot. These shots, as I said, are shots I've created. If we want to delete them, we simply hold on and press the delete button, and we can add another one. As you can see, P1 has disappeared, and we have P2 and P3 here. And basically, if we touch them, it will take us to the shot that we have selected. I think this one was a ceiling. Yeah, that's correct. And if we want another new shot, we simply go back here to the initial shot. We select our point of interest. For example, we'll go here to the little plaque. We'll press the P button again, and we have saved a shot pointing at the plaque. And the next shot, P2, would be pointing over here, and P3 is pointing at the ceiling, and P1 takes us back to the little plaque, okay? We can configure this in such a way that we have purposely framed different objects, and while recording, well, the camera points to the important objects whilst doing it, okay? I've chosen them a bit randomly. Then if we want to access more advanced settings on this camera, we go to this button over here, and you will see that we have a white balance, the ISO, and other different balances. I usually set it in automatic because the camera normally captures a shot very well. Then we return to the general shot, and we indicate the camera to point straight at us. We get it to record again, and these would be the main functionalities we have with the Obsbot TAIL AIR. As you can see, it's very similar to the Tiny 2, but it's the much more beefed up version, we could say, of these little cameras. So I'm going to cut the recording here and also show you that we have the possibility, there it is, we have the possibility of going here, we'll disconnect and connect several cameras at once. This is very well thought out for sports events or in other situations. As you can see, we have our camera connected, and if we slide to the side, we'll be able to add more cameras so that they all create a shot together. Okay, as conclusions of the camera, I think, as I've said throughout the review, it's a super complete camera. It has practically all the functionalities, and as I said before, it's one of the most complete, if not the most complete, on the market. Negative points of the camera, without a doubt, the microphone is the weakest point of this Obsbot TAIL AIR. You can also see the quality of the camera, and we'll be changing up the shots, okay? As you can see, I made this gesture. I won't do it again because it will stop the recording, but with this gesture we can start recording without having to touch any single button off. Because in terms of image quality, it seems to be fairly decent, and as for functionalities, more than decent. All the points seem very positive to me, except the microphone. Fortunately, we can fix this by connecting an external microphone. And the price of this camera is not cheap. We have a camera that costs around 550 euros. As I said, it's not a very economical price, so it depends on the use you're going to give it. If you're a professional, as I said, a professional who has to get on stage, a comedian, an actor, or a person who is dedicated to professional sports and wants to record all their matches, I think it's a very interesting product. But if, for example, you're a person who just likes to stream on Twitch in a more amateur-ish way, or you just want to be live with your friends and so on, a product like the Obsbot Tiny 2, which is a cheaper product, I think is going to be more than enough. So it depends on the use you're going to give it. This model, without a doubt, is the most complete, and it will be for those users who want to take their work, their profession, to the highest level. So that's it for the video, guys. I hope you liked the review of this little camera. Down in the comments, let us know what you thought. And also down in the description, you'll have the link in case you want to access it. You know that you always have the affiliate link down on Amazon for the products we talk about. So that's it. Nothing more. This is all, and until next time. See ya.